tonight. Ed and I hung out together, and boy, you talking about a terrible first segment of a basketball game. 4-4. Louisville looked like they had a hangover from Friday night against Cincinnati, and it just took a while for them to take over against Eastern Michigan. You know who Eastern Michigan's coach was, guys?
I do know who it is. I can't think of his name.
Stan Heath.
That's right.
I remember that. Yeah, I heard that last night.
He's coached at Arkansas.
Yeah.
He's coached a bunch of different places. But, boy, whew, I don't know if they're going to win the MAC, man. They are very limited in scoring. Decent crowd last night on a Monday night, but players came out and they weren't really, I don't think, too into the game, and you kind of expect that. Yesterday we were talking, Scoot, about Isaac McNeely only having 3 points on Friday night.
He showed up, didn't he?
He showed up. Such a good shooter, man. They spread that floor, and Ed looked at me and he said, we were through. He goes, man, he's a lot better than I thought. And yesterday when we were talking, said they spread the floor, and it just gives him opportunities. And then the I can't even say it.
Egyptian
magician. Say that three times in a row.
Impossible.
He hit 2 3-pointers, and I looked at Ed and I said, Ed, that might have been the worst thing that's ever happened to Louisville basketball. He might start shooting.
He's going to want to shoot them all the time. Yeah, you make a couple and you think, yeah, I'm gold.
Yeah, they're number 6 in the country. Buzz, what's your opinions?
I like the way they share the ball. And I know everybody talks about Michael Brown Jr. and he's great, a great facilitator, but they move without the ball, and you as a coach probably appreciate that, but they share the ball, and then McNeely not only finds a way to get open, but he gets his shot off quick, and reminiscent of the player from last year that escapes me from U of L. Just a quick Rain Smith, yeah. Just quick release, gets rid of the ball, and accurate, and I like that, but I like the way they play defense, pushing the pace, and certainly you got to push the pace, but share the ball. I thought when Louisville played Kentucky tried to push the pace, but it was like first guy shoots.
Yeah, and they weren't good shots that Kentucky took. And Louisville does a nice job. They kind of run a 5 out. It'll be a 4 out sometimes if when Fru's in the game. He spends more time in the lane than Khalifa does. But, yeah, I love the cutting. I love the moving. And it's hard to defend that. And actually that's how I coached. I think you advance the balls. You don't dribble the ball, you advance it. If you dribble it a couple times, you don't have anything, you pass it. You cut, you keep moving, and the defense usually breaks down. And I think really good things for Louisville all year long. Brown and Khalifa had 11. McNeely had 17. They only hit 3 of 31 shots Eastern Michigan in the first 6 of 31 in the first half, which is not very good.
Yeah, you're not going to win many games that way.
No, and we were talking before, Buzz and Scoot. Buzz and I were talking, what I was trying to say. Wednesday night, tomorrow night, the Cards play New Jersey Institute of Technology at 9 o'clock.
NJIT, baby.
At 9 o'clock on Wednesday night.
You know my one big memory of NJIT? When I was a kid, I think they had gone like 3 or 4 straight years without winning a game. They were like 0-100 and something, and then they finally won one. I'll never forget that about NJIT.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to remember about a university, that they won one game. But I think there's going to be crickets in there Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving at 9 o'clock against an opponent that's not very good. I think they lost by 20-something last night to Cincinnati, 26 or something to Cincinnati last night. So,
I was wrong. It was a 51-game losing streak.
Oh, just 51.
Yeah,
that's not
longest
bad.
in NCAA history.
You know their nickname?
Ooh,
Me either.
No.
I have no clue.
If you get that, you win a prize. I don't know what the prize
Highlanders.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
New Jersey Institute of Technology.
At least they're in the record book, though.
That's true.
Wow.
Good point.
But I just don't see anybody. I'm not going to be there tomorrow night, and I'm going pretty often. Kentucky will play Tennessee Tech Wednesday night. That's at 7. Buzz and I were talking off there. That's the kind of game that the fans that don't get to go to UK games, you know, if you're not going to use your tickets, give them to somebody that really wants to go, U of L or the UK game. A lot of people who cannot get to games, don't have the revenue or just whatever. If you're not going to use your tickets, man, give them to somebody. But those are we're going to start with college basketball. We're going to talk more college basketball later, but I want to talk some NFL. And the first thing I want to talk about are the Cleveland Browns. Why do you think we're talking about the Cleveland Browns?
No
Buzz
idea.
came in here in his jersey.
Looks like he's ready to play.
I know it. They beat a USFL team the other day, the Las Vegas Raiders, who fired their offensive coordinator after the game, Chip Kelly. I don't think it's Chip Kelly's fault that the Raiders are that bad. No. What do you think, Buzz?
No, I don't think so. What I will say, first thing about that game is watching Max Crosby for the Raiders and Myles Garrett for the Browns. Is you've got two guys that are absolute professionals. Their teams both 2-8 coming into the game, nothing really to play for except pride, and they both busted it on every play. Garrett had 3 sacks. The Browns had 10. Crosby's running all over the field, making tackles for the Raiders. And you want to see leaders like that, but no, Chip Kelly wasn't the reason. The Browns have a good defense, and the Raiders' offense isn't good, and the coordinator's not going to change a thing.
Yeah, I mean, they've got just a couple decent players, the Raiders, and I think Genty's still going to be really good.
I do too.
But they've just got issues. They've had issues. Those games, it was a Browns home game.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to go to Las Vegas to watch their team play, so Raider fans do not normally – they might outnumber the visitors, but not by much. And that's what I was going to talk about. Garrett and Crosby, maybe the 2 best defensive players in football. And Garrett's so good, and he's been up there on the Mistake by the Lake and all those other places up there. Are they still building a new stadium in that area?
They've been trying to,
and
there's been a battle because they want to move it. It's in the same county, but it's outside the city limits of Cleveland, and the stadium that's there now is not that old.
No,
but it is right on the lake.
It's in a terrible. When John and I went up to watch the Guardians Fott pitch last year, we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We went over and looked at the stadium. There's no parking.
No, there's not.
And I was out at a Derby week, and I was talking to a gentleman who was from Cleveland, and I said, "Where do you park to go to Browns games? If there's very limited parking right there on the lake." Said you park on the side of the expressway and whatever, and I'm like, "Wow, I guess people tailgate at the bars in downtown and
I guess
wherever they can find."
Never been to a game up there, but
What?
Not yet, anyway. But like you have been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and also to the House from Christmas story. That's a whole different story. That's a pretty cool deal. But yeah, it didn't appear to be that there was much parking, so I'm guessing people Uber in or find a place to tailgate and then go in because the stadium's always packed. I mean, it's an NFL stadium.
Yeah, and Brown fans
they got to be loyal.
Yeah.
How have you never been to a game in 96 years, Buzz? I find that unbelievable.
Well, back in the days when it was just a stagecoach and, horse-driven, it took a long time to get
there, didn't it? Yeah. And there was, it's hard to get in a boat and get there.
Especially when the lake's on fire.
Well, here's the great stat that I got off that game. 17-game losing streak by quarterbacks making their first start. And Shadir Sanders won the game and broke that streak. 17 first-time starting quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns had lost consecutively.
That's crazy.
But that could just be over like 3 years, as many quarterbacks as they've run through there.
You see the guy wears the shirt or whatever, and he's got all the quarterbacks that have played. And
it's now a dress. It's no longer a shirt.
It's crazy. But, that's glad your Browns got to win.
Thank you.
Boy, I tell you what, the Raiders have given up 20 sacks in the last 3 games. So Chip Kelly not coaching the defense. But all right, let's move on. Let's move through this. I want to go through some of these games and get your guys' opinions. I mean, the Thursday night game, the Bills are going the wrong way. Y'all, I mean, what's your all's opinions where the Bills are going to be as the season keeps progressing? Buzz?
Well, early in the season, everybody was talking about Bills in Kansas City again, and I know Cincinnati got some love before Burrow got hurt. But I thought the Bills would be the team to sustain it, and they are. They're going backwards, and it's a combination. I don't think their defense is doing as well, and Josh Allen just doesn't seem to be able to hit the receivers, and they can't catch it.
And when he does, he has great games. He has 6 touchdowns. But
yeah,
you can't go from 6 touchdowns to the performance he put up on Thursday.
Yeah,
you just
so
can't.
We all kind of agree right now we would not take stock in the Buffalo Bills. They can rebound, but right now, all right, my team. Oh my goodness, the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy is in concussion protocol. When he was on the plane leaving the game, when they were flying back to Minnesota, they found out he had a concussion. I told Scoot, I said he must have played with a concussion, and nobody knew it from the beginning of the game on. J.J. McCarthy, did the Vikings make a mistake giving up Sam Darnold and all that, Kirk Cousins and all those guys? Should they have kept those guys, or will J.J. McCarthy turn it around down the road? And my son said, look, it's his first game. It's his first, 9 games or whatever, how many games the Vikings have played. But he's been in the system for a whole year, J.J. McCarthy.
Well, look at the teams that didn't let their quarterbacks develop. And you can go back to the Browns with Mayfield and letting him go and what he's done at Tampa Bay. Darnold now out in Seattle and what he did in Minnesota. And there's a number of them that they didn't give time to develop. And I think McCarthy can develop. But most quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, don't come into the NFL and set the world on fire.
Yeah. What about the Packers, guys? Do you take stock in the Packers?
I don't know yet.
They lost to the Browns.
I can't figure the Packers out.
No, you're right. The Packers seem like a team that can go to the Super Bowl, and they seem like a team that could score 10 points and get beat 21-10 trying to get into the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out some of these teams. I was going to look at the standings and kind of go down that, but just hit a couple other games real quick that I really want to hit the game. What about the Bears? You taking stock in the Bears? Are the Bears for real? They win 31-28 against your Steelers, but no, Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. And they seem to keep finding a way to win.
Yeah, I think the coaching change has paid dividends for them, and they've done a good job in the draft the last few years. And here again, they were patient with Caleb Williams. He took his lumps last year, but they stuck with him. The new coach comes in, an offensive mind, and Caleb Williams is playing kind of like he did at USC or Oklahoma before that.
Well, and I really like their running back room. I mean, with Swift and then Monungai, like nobody. How many NFL fans even know Kyle Monungai? And he's tearing it up. I mean, maybe not a top 10 running back in terms of statistics, but he's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, the Bears right now, they got it going. They're finding ways to win games. One more game before we go to the break. What about the Patriots? Patriots beat the Bengals 26-20 without Jamar Chase, who did apologize for spitting
Good job,
Jalen Ramsey after the big old honker hit him in the, I got something in my throat. Just kind of came out.
And he just got in my way.
Yeah. But best record in the AFC, Mike Vrabel and, May are doing things that I don't think anybody in New England expected.
I've been hesitant with the Patriots, but I'm to the point now where I think I'm bought in on them.
I'm still a little short of buying totally in on them. I want to see when the pressure really gets on. Their record's been good, and I'm surprised that they've done as well. But Vrabel seems to have magic when he's in New England.
Yeah, I think he's a player's coach, and I think the Titans made a big mistake. You jumped so quick to get rid of some of these guys, and culture, I think, has a lot to do with a lot of these teams. And so, the Bengals going the other way. If they want to get rid of Zach Taylor, Patriot fans are just loving every minute of it right now. But let's go ahead and take our first break. We'll come back and hit a couple more of these in a minute. You're listening to the Big X on the Spears on Sports Show. Back here on Spears on Sports.
Yeah.
Here on Feast Week. No John Spears. If you joined us late, John's in Charleston, South Carolina.
He's feasting.
That's one thing he does when he's with the Knights. I told him from day one. He goes, they ask us what we want to eat, and he goes, I just get this. I go, no, you get the best thing on the menu because they're paying for it, and you don't worry about it.
That's right.
And now he does do that. He tells me he doesn't feel guilty. When you get on a plane or a bus and you're going and you're spending 3-4 days there, you take the amenities that are coming your way.
Right.
And
colleges have so much money.
yeah.
They're fine.
All right, I want to hit a couple more football games real quick because we didn't get to them the other day. Detroit Lions, New York Giants. I know everybody we talked about Jameis Winston coming in, and there's a couple things about this game. Detroit. Are you buying Detroit right now? What's going on up in Detroit? Do you think Detroit's going to turn it around? Not to turn it around, but just get moving in the right direction. They have struggled. And that division, when you look at the Bears on top and the Packers and the Lions, I don't think either one are playing very well. Thoughts on the Detroit Lions?
I think Detroit's going to turn it around. When you can run the ball the way that they do, especially after the game that Gibbs had, that helps. And certainly Goff at quarterback, he has his ups and downs, but I just really think that if the defense can stay healthy, that they'll be somebody to reckon with during the playoffs.
Boy, the Giants just Middletown Mo, big Giants fan. I sent him a thing about the Giants can find a million ways to lose, and he sent me some type of comedy thing, and it said if the games ended in the third quarter, at the end of the third quarter, the Giants would have a winning record.
Oh wow!
And
That's crazy.
So, Detroit. I think they got everything that they should have to get to the Super Bowl, but they've kind of struggled some. And so I'm gonna hit two more games real quick, and then we'll get to the good, bad, and the ugly. Dallas and Philadelphia. Philadelphia, they are so upset with the Eagles who won the Super Bowl last year. That was their third loss of the year, and they act like that the sky's falling in Philadelphia.
Isn't that like Kentucky basketball fans?
Yeah,
Same thing.
Alabama football fan. It's when you boo Santa Claus and you throw batteries at people in Philadelphia, and they in the old Veteran Stadium, they had gel underneath it. They had they actually had a jail where they would hold people that they, didn't arrest them, but, for whatever you do in Philadelphia. But the Eagles are going to win that division. Yeah. They're going to have a good seed, but, you lose to the Dallas Cowboys in a game that you're winning 21-0, and you just kind of give it away.
Well, and the stat that blows my mind from that game is that was the 7th straight win for Dak Prescott over the Eagles. That's crazy.
Really?
That's
I did not know that.
It's a curse that Dak's got on the Eagles. That's all it is.
Well, old Jerry, they show old Jerry up there. If his thumbs up, oh boy, Cowboys. We're back.
He wasn't that way in the first half, though.
No, he was not. And we always talk about Jerry likes to be in the center of attention, likes all that stuff. But I guess when you're a multi-billionaire, you do whatever you want. So, yeah, I still think what do y'all think on the Cowboys? Can the Cowboys make a run with the players they've picked up, and they're playing a lot better?
I think they added to their defense, and that helps. Their offense has been good all season, pretty solid, and Dak's having a really good year. But I have a hard time believing in them.
I do too.
I don't. I don't trust their defense, but offensively, they can hang with anybody.
I gotta get CD Lamb to catch the ball here lately.
Pickens has been the new CD Lamb. They don't need CD.
Yeah, Pickens has been really, really good. That catch he made late in that game was phenomenal down the field. All right, last team I'm going to talk about, the best team in football according to odds and everything else, the Los Angeles Rams. Put it to Tampa Bay. I know Baker got hurt the other night. Rams, they can win it. What are your all's thoughts? Go ahead, Bus.
I think the Rams have a really good shot. The one thing that they've got going against them is playing all their home games out there in sunny California. They won't have to go on the road if they keep the best record.
Mm-hmm. In the playoffs, they will probably have a good home crowd, but they're the same as Las Vegas. the fans out in L.A. that bought tickets sell them, and they sell them to the teams coming in. And a lot of those games, when they play home games, the other team has a large contingent of fans.
Especially when the 49ers come into town.
Oh, 49er game.
They dominate the
It looked
stadium.
like a home
Yeah.
game for
Yeah.
when the 49ers play there. Scoot, you think the Rams?
Oh, I'm bought in on the Rams. Actually, the roommate and I last night, we went and named the 4 teams that we thought had a chance to win the Super Bowl, and the Rams were the first one we came up with.
Yeah, they're the favorite betting
legit.
odds and everything else. And McVay does a really good job, even when
Yeah, he does.
last few years when they haven't been as good. And Matthew Stafford has found the fountain of youth.
Wow, was he like 39, something like that? But he can still spin it.
It helps to have Devontae Adams and Puka Nakua and some of those guys. And so right now he's the MVP probably in the league, don't y'all think?
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, he will not leave Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and as hard as it is for a running back to win it, if somebody it should be somebody like Jonathan Taylor with the year he's had.
Yeah. So, yep, I still think the Vikings are going to win it all. So, and they'll be playing the Browns in the Super Bowl. So, if they
I'll be there on the
they knock
50-yard
off the
line.
Steelers to get there. So,
They should have a reverse Super Bowl where the 2 worst teams play. That'd be a blast. And then the winner gets the number 1 overall pick. That'd be fun.
yeah,
Yeah, 3-0, something like that.
it would be a thriller.
Play
They
it
both
out.
might be able to score against each other. So,
Play
if
it
both
out,
teams stink.
outdoors in like Cleveland or somewhere like that where
Oh,
it's
my
all
goodness.
mud.
They have to play in Green Bay, and Green Bay's not in the game.
Yeah.
All right, Scoot, it's time. Good, bad, and the ugly, brother. The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, sponsored by the Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I'll let you start. We'll do it backwards this time
Okay.
because John's not here. So we'll start like we always do with the good. You got the NFL.
All right, I'm going to start with, this is a no-brainer for me, Jahmyr Gibbs. Lions didn't look all that great, but Jahmyr Gibbs was unbelievable. 264 yards total between rushing and receiving, 3 touchdowns. He was legit the reason that the Lions were able to come back and win that game. So my good for the week is Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, the Giants in overtime got to see the back of his numbers,
did.
0 on the first play when he took off. He took off, and my son sit with me, and I go, they ain't catching him.
Well, that was actually good for me because I was on the Lions -6.5, and when that game went to overtime, I thought no way in hell that they cover that. So that was beautiful.
Can you believe we talk about betting on this show?
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
Okay, so we got that one. My good is the Pittsburgh Panthers. They had to win that game against Georgia Tech, even though Narduzzi made a blunder on that fake punt that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But they host Miami next week, and they control their destiny here. Pitt wins that game 42-28. Georgia Tech had to win that game. That game was to get to the playoffs. They eliminated Georgia Tech. If Pittsburgh wins, they're in the ACC championship game, and they'll be 10-2 looking at the playoffs. If Virginia or SMU lose, they're in the ACC final. I didn't know that till I read that this morning, and they had a 100-yard interception in that game. And man, Georgia Tech had won 10 straight games at home. So Pittsburgh goes in, and now they control their own destiny. And a few weeks ago, I don't think anybody had Pittsburgh.
No way.
Not
All right, Scoot, let's go with the bad in the NFL.
I'm going to go with, I know we just hyped up the Rams, but I'm going with the Bucks as my bad. Going into that game, it kind of felt like one of those toss-up type of games that Tampa Bay could find a way to win, but they were completely inept, losing by, 27? Nobody looked good. I know Baker got knocked around and he was out of the game, but even before going out, 9 of 19 passing for 41 yards, that's horrible. 2 interceptions to go along with that. So I'm going to put up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as my bad for the week with that crappy performance.
They looked disinterested as that game went on, didn't they? I changed it over. I'm watching it. I move it over to the other television, watch a basketball game. All right, my bad in college. I'm not even going to go along with this. Kentucky.
Yeah.
That is, you get an opportunity.
Should have saved that for ugly.
Yeah, well, you'll like you'll like my ugly.
I think I know where that's going.
Ugly's better. We've talked about it at length yesterday. You get an opportunity to get your 4th win in a row, or even play a close game to make you feel good, and they just go in and get hammered 45-17. All right, let's go to the ugly, Scoot.
All right. Sorry, Tony. I've got to do it. I've got to take the Minnesota Vikings as my ugly this week. J.J. McCarthy was awful. Talking about looking disinterested, the Vikings. And you're allowing the Packers to get a pick 6, and then they celebrate with your skull celebration.
I know it, man.
That is so ugly when you allow your rival to do your celebration. So Vikings are my ugly for this week.
Yeah, they were never in that game. That game was not that lopsided score-wise, but they were never in that game. All right, my ugly, and you're going to agree why I didn't take Kentucky as the ugly. Syracuse.
Oh.
They lose 70-7 to Notre Dame. Notre Dame did not run a play, and it was 21 offensive play, and it was 21-0. Man, I know their quarterback was hurt. The running back, they were beat up earlier in the year. They weren't too bad. I've got some numbers here that y'all are going to love. It was the first time Notre Dame had scored 70 points since 1932 against Haskell. Wow. Syracuse had not given up 70 points in a game since 1891 against the Union, 75 points, and Notre Dame scored 35 points in the first quarter.
35 in the first quarter, wow.
Which is just crazy. Terrible. Syracuse, I think they beat somebody good early in the year, and they said they hadn't won a game since their quarterback got hurt, so there are reasons there, but, man, when the other team hasn't run a play, and it's 20 offensive play, and it's 21-0,
that's demoralizing right there.
Things aren't going real well for you. You know, you talk about ugly. That's ugly, man.
You know, all of us, I'm sure, would love to call games at the college level, but that kind of makes you embrace calling games in high school, right? When just knowing it gets to 35-0. Rest of the game's going to be quick. Yeah. That one was not quick.
Yeah, thank goodness for the kids. The way I look at it, when it gets 35-0, that you don't have to leave your kids out there. Right. I always say this when we're doing the St. X games. They're playing Southern in the first round, and the Southern kids really don't want to be there because they know. And you're putting your second string in and your third string, and they're like animals. They're biting at the bit.
Oh, yeah.
Like St. X, Trinity, Manual, all the schools. They want to go in the game, and those guys want the game to end. And I just feel one of the worst things I saw in high school football, it was years ago, and Butler was not very good. And St. X, it was a year that the districts played each other in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
St. X beat them 70-0 during the year and played them in the first round, and the game was like 60-something to nothing. St. X was kicking off, and Butler had a really good running back who had just been beat up the whole game. And St. X kicked off, and he was a deep man, and the ball spun at the 1-yard line. And he just stood there and looked at it and picked it up and took about 5 yards and just ducked. And I thought, why do you do this to these kids? You put them in these situations. But, you know, it's just part of the game. I'm a fan of not running it up on somebody as a coach. I try to explain to my kids you could be on the other side. I've been around other coaches that say, we're not going to stop playing. You know? And I'm like, there's a line that you have to draw there. And in college, you can't draw a line because the backup quarterbacks, the backup guys are trying to get their time in. But
and you got to make every win look as good as possible for the selection committee.
Yeah, I don't understand last night, and this was a college game. Auburn beat Oregon 84-73, and at the end of the game, they were going to run the clock out, and Stephen Pearl was yelling, "Go score, go score!" And I'm like, "Is there a point differential or something?" I don't know. I would have been upset if who's Oregon's coach? I know who it is.
Dana Altman.
Dana Altman.
Yeah,
I would have been very upset.
What was the spread on the game?
Not that close.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like 3 or 4. It wasn't anything crazy.
I'm gonna hit a couple college games right before we go to break here because I got a bunch on here and I know we're not going to get to them.
Okay.
I've had some really good games yesterday. Number 15, Iowa State beat St. John's 83-82. That's St. John's second loss. That's a good Iowa State team. And St. John's had a 3 that tied at the buzzer by Okafor. Ejiofor. And he missed it, and they put it back.
Barely even hit the rim.
Yeah, so Coach Pitino, as soon as I bet on them, they lose a couple of games to win it all. Houston goes into overtime. Number 3, Houston goes into overtime against Syracuse. I guess the basketball team did not feed off the football team. The guards for Houston both had 26 points. Sharp and
Uzan.
They win the late game. Gonzaga, number 12 in the country, beats Alabama 95-85. Gonzaga looked good last night. And give Alabama credit. They have played 4 top-ranked teams to start the season. And so I like Alabama, but I'm still – and John, I'm not going to argue with him. I love the way they play, layups and threes. But when you're not shooting well on a night, you're going to go home. Because if you're relying on that three-pointer, I don't care how great a shooter. I've seen some of the best shooters I've ever played with have nights. They couldn't throw it in the ocean. So we'll see how that works out for Alabama. And one team I want to bring up is Michigan. Have y'all seen Michigan play?
Yeah, they're fun.
They're good.
I like them.
They're really good. And they won 94-54 last night. And we have a smorgasbord again of college basketball day starting at 1 o'clock. If we get to it, we'll talk about it. But we'll take the second break of the day. You're listening to Spears on Sports on the Big X. All right, back here. Last segment of the day. Last of the week, actually. We're going to do whatever we can do here. I'm going to try to play something that you couldn't find, Scoot, over the mic here. If it doesn't work, tell me. We'll cut it off. I'll play it right now.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Come on, Tony.
Man.
It's like birthdays. You not ready?
It's supposed to play.
It's technology. Don't ask me for help.
All right. Well, we'll try to get that on. I'll tell you what it is before I was hoping Scoot could get it on there. And I think the one I sent went to Instagram or something and how it knocks it out. I'll try to get it here in a minute. But it's a Creighton announcer last night going ballistic on the radio. All right, let's do birthday, Scoot.
What? Why would you call for it that quick? Gosh dang it.
I don't have a whole lot today, so I just want to shoot through them and get to a few other things. So we'll start with celebrities, singers, whatever you want to call them. Percy Sledge, 84 years old.
When a man loves a woman.
I put that in there because I knew Buzz would go with that one. 84 years young, Percy Sledge. Got that cool voice. John Larroquette from Night Court and a bunch of different shows. He's 78 years old. He was the guy that if you watched Night Court that had the hair and always got in trouble.
He was also the commanding officer in Stripes.
You are exactly right. I forgot all about that. He was great in that.
With the binoculars out the window.
Oh, yeah, man. That's why we got Buzz here. Buzz can fill in them good ones. Ben Stein, 81 years old. Ben Stein's been on all kinds of different stuff.
One of the most boring guys of all time.
Exactly. And how did he ever make it? They had the Ben Stein show. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of dumb humor.
That's his whole shtick, is just to be real boring and dull.
Yep. 81 years old. Amy Grant. Who's Amy Grant married to? She's
Vince Gill.
Yes, she is.
Is she?
Yeah.
You didn't know that, Scoot?
I didn't. But Amy Grant's a solid 3.5.
Solid 3.5. Scoot with that. All right, here's my other one for the Scoot meter. Christina Applegate. She's 44 years old. This is going to be interesting to me because I have no idea where Scoot will go with Christina Applegate.
I mean, I've got to go 4. She's very, very good looking.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. She kind of got a little attitude, kind of like too.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
I know. I thought Scoot would like Christina. So, not a whole lot on the birthday, so we'll hit a couple sports figures here real quick. Joe DiMaggio.
Who?
Yeah, Joe DiMaggio.
Never heard of him.
He might have been a little bit before your time.
You ever see him play?
Actually,
He'd be 111.
I read a lot about him,
Yeah.
and I think the interesting thing about Joe DiMaggio is that the year Ted Williams hit 406 for a batting average, Joe DiMaggio was the most valuable player.
Yeah, the hitting streak that
56.
56.
Wasn't he married to Marilyn Monroe?
He was.
Yes, he was. Marilyn Monroe on the Scoot meter.
3.
Oh, come on.
Buzz ain't happy
no,
about
no,
that.
no.
I can see the look on Buzz's face
Yeah.
when you hit that.
It's the hair, Buzz. I can't do it.
Well, obviously, I don't know anything about hair.
That's
so
true.
That's,
Good point.
Joe Gibbs, former Washington coach. Well, I won't go to Red Commander Skins football team. He did not coach them. He was with the Redskins back
Not
in the day.
Jameer's dad.
No. NASCAR.
yeah.
Uh,
Won some championships
owner, lot of
in
championships.
NASCAR. 3
Yep.
Super Bowl rings.
85 years old. Joe Gibbs, great coach. Donovan McNabb, 49 years old, the old quarterback from Syracuse and with the Eagles. Donovan McNabb had some good years in the NFL. He was a good player. A guy that I didn't really expect to translate to the NFL after leaving Syracuse, but shows you what I know. And last but not least, and I want to know if this is a celebrity, an athlete, or what? Joey Chestnut is 42 years old. What is he?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I don't know.
He's in better shape than most people because you can't do what that guy does and not be in shape.
And you know, one of the funny things is in those eating contests, you see a lot of the winners are some of the smaller people. Now, Chestnut's tall, but the whole idea is the more fat you have, the less your stomach can expand.
I mean, Mickey Sudo, who wins the women's side every year, is
She's
tiny.
How can you put that much food that fast and you can't digest it?
No.
and actually not be just totally sick. I don't care how much you work at exercising and eating.
Yeah.
That is some crazy stuff. All right, Scoot, that's the end of the birthdays for today. Did you have that clip?
I did. Yep, here we go.
Y'all got to listen.
Greg Smith blew it. He was outside the restricted area. He was straight up and down. He was set like the statue sitting out in front of New York, New York, and they called that. That's an absolutely horse crap call. In a game that's been played out like this. Unbelievable. Bailout call by an incompetent referee.
That is so awesome. I heard that this morning. I texted Scoot, and I thought, gosh, we got to get that on. That is a play-by-play guy that was not happy with an official.
Obviously.
Scoot, you ever get that upset with an official?
No, it doesn't mean that much to me.
Yeah, well, you're not. You're never a homer because
Exactly.
you got different schools.
Now,
you don't do.
if I'm like you and John or even Buzz and I'm calling for the same school every day, maybe I get that way, but probably not still.
That sounds like, as John would put, a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
It did not.
Horse crap call.
I know. And the tone of his voice is just so awesome. And I'm just like,
He was more than aggravated for sure.
oh, more. That's a guy, I guarantee, has been doing those games for 100
long
years.
time,
And
yeah.
it feels like, he can get away with that.
By the way, I do want to read a couple texts before we move
I
on.
meant to get to that.
Patrick Murphy says, hello, Buzz, Scoots, and Tony. Congratulations, Buzz, on being caller and texter of the year. I thought I would give you a run for your money, but it's all good.
You're pushing him, Patrick.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
pushing him, man, every day.
So I
when it
told
comes
him,
in.
Patrick's number 2.
Yep.
Patrick also says, the Colts, his team, versus the Chiefs was close but couldn't get anything done. By the way, there were a lot of Pittsburgh Steeler fans at Rail Yard in Louisville on Sunday. Ooh, that's good to know, Patrick.
Yeah.
Maybe I go to Rail Yard, watch games.
Steelers have fans
got any more?
everywhere.
They do.
Got more text?
Nope, that's it.
All right, we had a ton yesterday.
We did.
But and Buzz is here. We lose one or two.
Yeah. That's
All right, let me hit a few tidbits before I hit the college basketball tonight. What's your all's opinion on this Lane Kiffin deal? Lane Kiffin was interviewed yesterday, and every time they'd ask him a question, he said, I'll talk about the game, and everybody kept asking him. In the Lane Kiffin's credit, he was very professional on how he answered them. He can be a guy that's not. Is he going to stay at Ole Miss? I mean, they're right now they're probably going to be in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, they're like 10-1, aren't they?
They are sitting right there, and if he leaves, let's just say, this is hypothetical. Let's say he goes ahead and tells LSU, I'll take the job. Will that affect Ole Miss in the playoffs, not having their head coach?
He's not going anywhere.
I don't think he is either, but hypothetically, if he would leave, they offered him something that was just something ridiculous. And believe me, I talked to Jody Demling last night, and I'll get to the thing he talked about. LSU has so much money down there, it's ridiculous, he said.
I think it would affect them as a team, though, just because he's the leader, he's the figurehead, even though, he's not the be-all, end-all. You got your offensive and defensive coordinators and all the other position coaches, but still, he's the guy that probably a lot of those kids came there to play for Lane Kiffin.
Do you think it would hurt their seeding
No.
in the playoffs? Scoot?
I wouldn't think so. No, I mean, because I don't think you take a coach into effect there. I mean, the season is what the season is, regardless of if you've got a coach or not.
Yeah. I kind of agree, but it does always throw a wrench in the thing. And he's trying to, is he trying to make more money at Ole Miss? Is he really interested in the other ones? You got to listen to these people when they're offering you all this money. One I didn't write down I want to get to. Tigers play the Rocks Friday, 5 o'clock at St. X. Once again, if you want to go, I don't know how abundant the tickets are going to be. You need to get over to Trinity or St. X and get tickets. But the big news is St. X linebacker Karsten Bush decommitted from the University of Louisville yesterday. And Karsten Bush is a super player. I talked to Jody Demling last night. He follows all the recruiting for U of L. And I said, Jody, what's going on there? I thought he turned everybody else down and was going to Louisville. And he said, Tony, he goes, Vanderbilt has all these big supporters that have come out of the woodworks, big money people, and Vandy's throwing all kinds of money. And Vanderbilt and Miami are the two, and he seems to think it's Vanderbilt.
Really?
That we got talking, and he said, you can't hardly turn down the money that these schools are offering. So Louisville has lost 3 commitments have decommitted here, and I think the last week. And Karsten Bush, who Miami did not even come in and talk to him, called the coach over at St. X, Kevin Wallace, earlier and said, we want him. We've watched him on film. We've got a lot of guys in the Florida area that we know we can get, but we want this kid. And now he decommits from Louisville, and he's probably going to go to Vanderbilt's what I heard.
And he's a stud. I've seen him from the opposite sideline. Certainly what he does on defense is he's an offense wrecker, and just nothing but props to what I feel like is a fine young man and a great football player. But, yeah, when, money talks.
All of us right here, if we're working a job and we love the people we're with and we love where we're at, and somebody comes in and says, I'll pay you 3 times what you're making.
Yeah.
We're all going to say, hey, we'll keep in touch, guys. Maybe we'll go a few beers.
Speak for yourself, Tony. I'm staying with the Big X, baby. I'm loyal.
When ESPN calls, you're staying here,
I'm
right?
here.
All right, a couple other tidbits. Did you all see the end of the game last night? The fight or so-called fight at the end of the game between Morig and Jennings. During the game, the Carolina defensive back took a jewel shot at him, took a swing and hit him. They showed it on the end of a play. It looked like he had a cast or something on, hit him. So at the end of the game, Jennings went after him, and they're grabbing people and pulling. And I'm thinking, this Jennings is an idiot. And then they go back and show. With all the cameras in sports and in the world, and just on the streets, how can you be dumb enough to do that? He's going to get suspended. I mean, he literally threw a shot into the family jewels.
Yeah, that's insane. And you're taking somebody's perhaps career or life in your hands, certain damages there.
Yeah,
sure.
It's no fun.
Yeah.
No, it's not. This may be a dumb question, but do they wear cups in the NFL?
I would think they wear something. I would be.
But
I mean,
as much protective equipment as they have thrown away, I mean, you look at like kickers who have
no pants,
no pants or whatever on their, their briefs, and I wonder. We used to have to have. I don't know, going back into the dark ages, we had to have thigh pads, knee pads, vertical pads, all of this stuff that you
had to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, a couple things before we sign off here. The games start today at 1 o'clock with Michigan State and Eastern Carolina. Games are on FS2, True TV, ESPN2, TNT, FS1. There's games everywhere. Marquee games, Michigan and Auburn are at 8:30 tonight on TNT. Houston and Tennessee are at 6 o'clock. And any game you want, just look them up. You can watch basketball
Indiana,
all day.
Kansas State, 8 o'clock, Fox Sports 1.
And there's a midnight game between Alabama and UNLV.
I won't see that.
Well, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving weekend. We'll be back Monday. We're done with the Spears on Sports Show without John Spears. Thanks to Buzz Frank, Scoop, and we're out of here. Have a great weekend.